think we are live now. And welcome everyone. Welcome to today's session on how to write an amazing awards application. I'm Griselda Togobo and I'm the CEO at the Novi Awards. I'm delighted to have one of our long-standing, supportive, amazing members, Lucinda White, take us through the steps of what is required to submit an excellent awards application. So Lucinda does this for a living. She knows a lot more about awards than I do. She also knows a lot about bid writing and any kind of entry that you need to submit to win any form of award. So I'm very delighted to have us here to share her knowledge with us. And if you have any questions as we're going through, just feel free to use the chat box and to type them in, and we'll go through as many of those as we can. So thank you so much for joining us. Lucinda, over to you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Yeah, really great to be here today. I'm so pleased. Like I say, we've done it for a number of years now, haven't we? So it's really great to be involved again this year. Okay, so we'll just see if we've got the slides. Here we go. See. So a little bit about myself. As Griselda has already said, part of award writing and the award writing world for quite a number of years now. Been working with a number of different organisations, from small businesses to really, really huge organisations and companies, helping them put themselves forward for awards, understand what the strategy is all about, ensuring that they're going for the right categories at the right time in the business, and really making sure that we're shining and bringing that story to light, really, to showcase all the amazing things that the businesses and the individuals are putting and doing for themselves and for their companies. So I'm an award winner myself, which is fantastic, and it's certainly helped to raise the profile for myself and from the business and things as well. So hopefully by going through this process today, we're going to impart a little bit more knowledge for you so that you can take that step forward. Perhaps you've not done it before, perhaps you have done it before, not been as successful as you'd hoped. Maybe you're just looking for some new tips to pass on to the rest of the team and things as well. So, today is just going to be an overview of everything about the Novi Awards, why it's great to be part of them this year, the benefits that it's going to bring you and the company, but also, some top tips and some open to questions and things as well throughout. So when we get to that nitty gritty part of the categories and that information, if you've got any particular questions about that, then do raise them there and we'll go over them at that point, because I think that's probably going to be the best way. And then hopefully by the end of it, you'll have got all your boxes ticked and you'll feel much more confident to be able to go forward and enter these awards, and hopefully some others as well in the future. So next slide. So why are awards good for business? We're going to cover that today. We're probably going to run for about 30 to 40 minutes in terms of a presentation side of things. But with the questions and things as well, it probably extend to the full hour. So like I say, that's very open to have those questions as part of the process going forward. We're going to cover, obviously, the Novi Awards themselves, top tips, and then, like I say, with the questions and answers as well. So why should you enter business awards? There's a number of different reasons why, and this is probably just a snapshot of them, but I would say that this is probably really key points here to consider. So if you've got some niggles and think, I'm not quite sure if it's right for me, I'm not quite sure if it's, there's a lot of effort to be putting these together. Am I really at the right place right now? Well, just try and think, beyond that really, and just think how much benefit and value this is going to bring to you as a professional businesswoman, in your own right as a professional, but also the benefit that's going to bring to the business as well. So it's going to enhance your reputation and it's going to do huge things for your company profile. It really will elevate you and it will give you the confidence to be able to take up other opportunities and really push forward, whether that's collaborating with other businesses or whether that's you taking a particular role in another area, or perhaps representing other women in business in other companies, organizations or groups and that sort of thing. So it really will give you that launch pad to be able to raise your profile. It's going to motivate your team, if you have team. It's going to motivate you if it's just you. But certainly if you are part of a bigger company, a bigger team, it's really going to provide that motivation and just give that recognition that actually, yeah, this was all of us here. We did it. You know, we did really well. Let's get the reward for it. Let's celebrate that. And if you're certainly looking for new talent as well, then this is a great badge to have on your socials, on your website, on all your email footer, your liveries, etc. Because people are naturally attracted to award-winning organizations, companies, you know, and they are naturally want to be associated with that success. So you're going to kind of start recruiting brilliant people who are wanting to be part of your new culture, part of your business and what you're achieving as well. So having that stamp of approval on there is really going to help you bring those people towards you, but also going to bring those businesses towards you, or those new customers and clients, etc. as well. So it's just going to have an all-round positive effect. If it's an individual award that you're going for and for you yourself, then absolutely it is really, really valuable from a personal brand perspective. It's going to elevate and push you forward, put you into the limelight. People are going to start taking more notice, recognizing you, recognizing your name, the brand and everything that you stand for. And they're going to want to be part of that as well. So you're really going to have lots of opportunities opened up for you there. From an employer's perspective, it's great to have award-winning teams, award-winning employees as part of your business, but also to have your employer brand as an award-winning brand as well. So those two are aligned together. You're just going to maximize that and just generate lots and lots more success. Obviously, there's going to be that chance of going down the list a little bit here. So the business review and the analysis, as well as the personal review and the analysis as well for those individual awards. This is really, really important. And I can't really emphasize how much that process is in actually putting everything together, how much value that's going to give to you, because it really allows you to reflect back. What we do in business and what we do in our jobs, we're always moving forward. We're always looking at the next thing and you know, kind of pushing forward ambitions and drive and targets and goals and everything. And that's great. But often we lose track of what we've just achieved and all the success that we've just had because we're so busy in looking for the next thing and the next thing. So what awards allow you to do is just do that reflection process and actually maybe identify some areas that you thought, oh God, you know, actually, I didn't realize we were as successful as we were doing that, or I didn't realize quite the impact that that had when I took that decision. And I think those things of having a look at those are really, really important because it will help you make better decisions in your future, better decisions in the business, and really help you have more of a strategy as to where you're going forward as well. So I think that overall business review is really, really valuable. Obviously, the PR opportunities and all that comes with that is incredible. You know, the socials absolutely love it and have some great photos there. Really, really shout about your success as a finalist because that is not hard. You know, it's not easy to get that. So to become a finalist and maybe be one of 5 or 6 in that category is no mean feat. So really, really celebrate that. And then even if you don't win, celebrate again the fact that you were part of that top group of fantastic women who were in that category. So don't be afraid to celebrate all along the way. Those little mini wins will create some massive and big wins later on, I can assure you. And then, of course, the financial return as well. So we're always looking for, you know, ways to make money in business, and ways to make money for charities and organisations as well, if that's what you do. You know, we're always looking for ways to try and drive that revenue growth. So this award has proven itself to be, you know, of real value there. It has absolutely generated income beyond the lifetime of the award itself, and really truly helps to drive that not just the revenue, but just drive the innovation around the business as well. So, or as the individual, to be able to really kind of sort of step into new ground, really. And it's proven that, you know, with some really valuable information that's come through from studies that have been done in the past and things as well. So one of the slides that we're going to do in a moment is actually a quiz. I'm not sure if it'll run as a quiz on here because I've got it coming through with my animations and things, but perhaps it won't. But it will certainly give the right stats that you can certainly take away with yourself anyway. If anybody in your organization, perhaps you or somebody else, is going, not quite sure about this, then we can present them with some figures and just say, well, if we want to increase our turnover by this much, then we really need to invest in doing this right now. So here it is. Yeah, so this was a study that was done quite a while ago now. I think this is the only main study that's been done about awards, actually, to my knowledge. And this is a very condensed version of that, quite frankly. But it did track 120 companies over a 1 to 3 year period and track their success in comparison to non-award winning businesses of a similar nature and similar kind of sector, etc. And it tracked them to see what actually the value and the impact of that award win had made for that business. So for a small company, they had experienced a 39% growth in sales after winning their award. For a large business, it was 37% growth in sales. And in the last year of monitoring, the winning companies experienced even greater increases against performance of the comparison companies who didn't win, with sales growing by an average of 77%. So that was in that third year. So those figures in themselves, if you are a small business, write down what your turnover has been in the last 12 months and then work out what that 39% could mean for you. And for a large company, similar, again, with that 37%. And just look at those numbers and say, okay, there is true, return on investment here. So actually, yes, let's pursue this and let's put all our energies and investment into this right now because we can get some massive return from it as well. So the Novi Awards for this year, it's now in the 15th year. I can't believe it's 15 years that it's been going. That's incredible, isn't it? To just have so much celebration for so many incredible women in the UK, all going for these wonderful awards. And, it's a real celebration of female leadership, as it says here, innovation and entrepreneurism in business, which is incredible. So the timeline has already started. We began in April when they opened, and there is quite a large window of opportunity here, which is great actually, because some awards open and only give you a month before the closing date, but this has got a much more extended process, which is really nice, and it's really allows you to really work on it and really sort of look at what your opportunities are within your business to be able to celebrate and how you can put that forward in the best way possible. So there's a two-step process potentially. So if you want to nominate somebody else, you can go through that nomination process and you can nominate them and just give a little bit of understanding as to why you want to nominate them. The team will then contact that person and then they will be invited to pull an application in. If it's for yourself, you can bypass the nomination process and go straight for an application, in which case you will then just go straight to this. So there's two separate systems on the website, one for nominations, one for straight for apply. So if it is just for you, go straight for the application and just go straight to apply. So there is that slight window between the 1st and the 5th of September. So if somebody did put a late nomination in, they still have a few days to be able to accept that nomination and go forward and put an application in. Ideally, we want to be starting that as early as possible. So if you do have an idea of somebody else, perhaps in your team, in your business, one of your clients, one of your contacts who you feel is worthy of going for one of these awards, then do that as early as possible. Then that gives them as much time as possible to be able to put the rest of the application together. We then have the finalists announced on the 10th, and then they announce the ally and the advocates list on the 16th of October. And then the big event itself is a full day event down in London on the 21st of November. So wonderful to have so much time to be able to do it, but it will come up quite quickly upon us, I do feel, particularly with the summer months coming and things as well. But the idea is, obviously, we can do this now as early as possible, and hopefully, by the end of July, before the school holidays hit, which affects quite a few of us, before that period of time, we can really get most of this done, so that maybe there's some just fine tuning towards the end. If you know a big deal is coming in, perhaps over August period or something like that, that you want to include into the application as well. So in terms of the recipe for success, and it is a little bit like cooking, because ultimately you need lots of different bits of ingredients here, and you need to put them all into the mix, and then it comes out, and you need to obviously present that in the best way possible, just as a chef would do with their beautiful food on the plates and things. So really we're sort of looking at a cooking time in effect. So your preparation time, your writing time, you're gathering your evidence and your information, testimonials, preparing the supporting material. That all needs to be done, I would say about 12 hours, you know, and that's not one day of just purely working on all of this in one day. You would want to split that out across a couple of weeks, perhaps, and maybe delegate some elements to other people if needed. But I would say, you know, you're really looking at it. If you're doing it from scratch, never done one before, probably need to allocate around 12 hours to do that. The cooking time is when it's with the judges. So that's when it's in the oven there and you can't do anything about it. You can't take it out before it's cooked. And then you just have to find out what the result is going to be when it comes to October. The people who are putting the entries together, whether it's you, whether it's one of your team members, really have to have some key skills. And clearly we need to be able to write concisely and effectively. There are word counts that you need to keep to. So you may feel that 500 words is quite a lot to write, but actually if you've got a big story to tell, it's not that much at all. So you've got to be really, really strategic and specific about what it is that you're actually putting in there. You've got to be able to make sure that that person has the knowledge, like really has the knowledge to be able to put your story forward if they're writing on your behalf, or if you're writing it, you know, for the company, then you have got access to that information as well, so that you've got really understanding of what that vision is, what that person's goals were, what the information is, or the financial information perhaps that's needed as well, and who are the other people in the business to be able to perhaps gather some other information about that individual, or perhaps gather some information financially as well. They've got to be able to work well under pressure, because it will get pressured at some points, particularly if it's a late nomination or a late application. Time is the most difficult thing, as always, with managing these things, and it's on your to-do list, and it'll be a priority on the to-do list, and then other things will come into play which will push it down the list, and that's always how it works, really. But it's about trying to keep it elevated up that list as much as possible, even if you're just doing a small amount at a time, and breaking it down into smaller sections, making it into bite-sized chunks to make it a little bit more manageable. Now, we want you to be honest, but you can be creative with that honesty. And that doesn't mean lying by any means, because the judges will have their due diligence to do, and they will do that absolutely. You know, these are super well-respected awards, and there's complete transparency here. They want, you know, in terms of your figures, in terms of how you present information, you know, if you don't feel that your financial figures are as impressive enough to say, you know, we've only increased up to 100,000 perhaps this year. Really, we sort of feel like we need to be competing with people who are like 500,000, 1 million, 2 million, you know, and you feel a little bit less confident about that as a financial figure. That's okay. But if you've increased your turnover by 100%, maybe that's the figure to use instead. So do you see what I mean? Where it's like you're not being honest, you're not being dishonest about it, but you're just being creative in how you're presenting it, so that you're putting your best foot forward at all times, and presenting everything to the absolute maximum, so that it is very impressive for the judges to read, but they can go away and they can see that. And if they drill deep, you know, or ask for further questions, then, you know, you can confidently say, this is what the actual figures were, perhaps in that judge's interview or in that further information. So at that point, you know, don't panic if you don't feel as confident with your story. Your story will shine through. We'll just be creative in how we put that forward to make sure that it has that impact for the judges. So I think one of the first things to do is definitely move the deadline. So I would bring that back by at least a week to help with the time management side of things. It feels like you're losing a week, but actually it will give you a week, if you know what I mean. Because if you're bringing it back to, say, before the August bank holiday, then you can relax over August bank holiday and not have that stress and that worry, thinking I've still got that to do and I've got to work and it's sunny and everybody's out and I want to do fun things. So if you bring that timeline back a little bit, it may add a little bit more pressure at this end, but actually it will give you that freedom just in case anything happens, or just in case you just need that one person to review it and they're not going to be there until the 30th of August or something like that. So it just gives you that scope to be able to have everything there ready to go. It will give you that time to obviously gather the evidence, write the entry, proofread it, which is super, super important, and make sure that you're preparing any supporting material as well, which again really adds value there. And also you need to start for this one. There are some new things as well. So you need to start planning how you might be able to do a video on this occasion as well. So just gives you that little bit of flexibility to adjust and perhaps record and re-record some things as well. So some time management techniques and things which I tend to go over here, but one of the key ones I would say is Eat That Frog with Brian Tracy. He's a bit of a time management guru and a wonder with the whole Eat That Frog scenario. So if you've never heard of it before, this is a copy of the book cover here. You can get it on Audible, you can get it on all the different bookstores and things. But the concept really is, if you imagine that the award entry is a slimy, disgusting frog on your desk, that the more you leave it and the more you don't do that action, the bigger and smellier and stinkier it'll be, and the more it will play on your mind, which means you're being less productive elsewhere. So if you eat that frog at the beginning of the day, even if you just perhaps eat a leg of the frog and just do a little bit of the frog, then actually, you're making some inroads into making progress with your award entry as well. So about eating that frog at your most optimum time, I would say as well. So for some people, mornings aren't the best time. For some people, it might be mid-afternoon or it could be late at night. But pick your most optimum time. For myself, I would suggest, and make sure then that you're eating the frogs at those points in time. And then you'll be much more productive and hopefully sleep a bit better through the night. So we want you to obviously be working away and putting together these entries, and we really don't want you to miss the boat like these guys did. So when we're looking at categories, it is quite important to, I think, kind of almost take a step back, really. And this is where you can do quite a lot of work in preparation work, which will give you lots and lots of valuable information that you can then transpose and put into the award entry itself. So I would certainly suggest, whether you're a business or whether you're an individual, going through this process in itself. So you want to be reviewing the last 12 months of what's happened in the business, and write down what those top achievements and success points have been. Think about who, what, why, when, where, and how, the old GCSE English. Go through that process and really work out what was the impact of that. What was the impact of those decisions? What brought you to that? Why is it exciting? Is it disruptive? Is it innovative? Has it enabled you to branch out into new markets? Have you added additional locations? Have you increased your team? Have you increased your revenue? All these different success stories that you've got in the business, and write down as many as you possibly can. And then pick out those top 3, perhaps, of real, impactful ones that are real change makers for your business in these last 12 months. Because ultimately the awards are looking at the last 12 months in your business, but you can create some context as well by sort of setting the scene with the success of the previous years and things as well. But obviously you've got limited word count, so you do need to hone it down into who you are in these last 12 months. So that needs to be your focus initially, because then that will help you align yourself with the right awards that are out there as well. Some will be obvious, like the Apprentice, Rising Star one and things like that. Clearly, if you're not on an apprentice program and you're not a rising star, that's not going to be you. But there may be some others where there's a little bit of crossover, and you think, well, actually, I've had success here, but I've also had success here. So that will help you align into the right category. So as a business, we want to look at what your journey has looked like as a business and prepare that timeline of events, because that will help pinpoint exactly what happened and when, just for your own purposes more than anything, as well as everything else. And then as an individual, as a professional who is perhaps employed, start putting together a list of your top achievements in your role at the business from when you started, and then specifically in these last 12 months. Want to think about the additional roles that perhaps you take on in the company. Maybe you're part of the CSR team, maybe you're part of the community team, maybe you're part of some other things as well. So it's all about understanding who you are as the bigger picture of who you are as well. How you are as represent yourself outside of work, represent the company outside of work, and opportunities that you've had, maybe guest speaking opportunities, maybe you've been on a panel discussion and things like that, or done some podcasts and things. So what has been your role and how have you been delivering that in the last 12 months? What's that professional journey? What does that actually look like? And then want to understand what that success has enabled you to achieve. So has it been financial growth, new teams, investments, expansions, innovations? How has that had an influence and impact on the business? How are you then engaging with other women beyond the business as well, and perhaps mentoring them, supporting them, delivering projects and programs that might be helping young people develop themselves and their skills. It might be to help the older communities, getting them back into doing some work and things like that, or some community groups and things. So, the different things that you are involved with are all going to play a part in deciding and helping you to choose the right category to be able to showcase those as well. We also want to understand what makes you different from your competitors and your peers. Why are you the standout person to win this award? Why are you the standout person in that particular sector or industry? And why should you be recognised? So it does feel a bit uncomfortable because we're all very British about the awards and ourselves, and we don't like to big ourselves up too much. But actually, that's what you've got to do here. And I think sometimes what you can do, if you don't feel very confident about that, you can go and send a WhatsApp out to some of your friends and contacts and just say, give me 3 words that describe me, and see what comes back. And actually that process in itself is really rewarding and really encouraging and very uplifting. So that might help you to frame some of these things as well and give you an idea of which direction to go in. So for 2025, we have a number of different categories. So there are some new things this year, which is quite exciting. We have corporate, we have joint, we have entrepreneur and special. So those are the core areas. But within those, there are a number of different awards that we've added in there as well, which is great. So there's been some reworking, some tweaking, some real focused energy time, I guess, from Griselda and the team to make sure that they are actually a true reflection, and they are opening up to a lot more women as well who perhaps didn't feel they could fit into that one. But actually they can fit into this one now. So that's nice because it sort of spreads it out and allows for more people to be recognised and get more success from the awards as well. So we're just going to run through these. If anybody does have any questions about any of the awards at this point and you want to bring those up, that's great. If not, we can always cover them at the end. But in terms of the awards, you might see some headers that are quite different from the previous ones, which is really nice to see, as I've said. So corporate awards here. So we've got women working less than 15 years within an organisation, large or small, for the emerging leader. We've got engineering excellence. So where there was the STEM one before, that's been split out now, which is nice. So we've got the engineering excellence, got mathematics data leadership awards. We've got a rising star. So if you're an apprentice or a rising star within the company, we've got science research leader of the year, technology digital innovation leader of the year. So these, as you can see, they're really drawing out on being more specific, but actually opening it out to a lot more women as well to enter. And then transformational leader of the year. So the joint categories, we've got creative industries leader of the year, And I think one of the reasons why there's the new ones as well is because there were a lot of women, quite rightly, going in for one particular award, like Female Entrepreneur, but actually they were really showcasing themselves as, you know, kind of in their own right, in their own industries and sectors. So that allowed them to really pull them out and push them into a different area, which is really exciting. So, you know, having this here is, you know, these different opportunities is really valuable. It's just so great to see so many more categories there for people to enter. So there's health and wellbeing leader, inspiring mentor, international leadership excellence, outstanding returner of the year, which is great. And then, of course, the education and academic leader as well, which is brilliant. We have the public sector, third sector leader of the year, social impact of the year, sustainability champion, and the women on boards as well. So this is it's a big corporate, big joint category, that one. But it really, hopefully, I would say, inspires quite a lot of you to go forward and enter these awards. So the entrepreneur categories, we've got disruptor and innovator of the year, family business woman of the year, female entrepreneur, impact entrepreneur, international entrepreneur, startup of the year, and young entrepreneur for those who are under 30. So again, really fantastic scope there of loads of different opportunities for women to get involved. You know, and you are encouraged. You don't have to just enter one. You can enter maybe two. It might be that you only get shortlisted for one, but you don't know. You know, it could be that actually you just maximize that opportunity and you're there on a shortlist for a number of different ones. But, you know, if you are going for those different ones, you need to make sure that the narrative is very specific to that particular award that you're entering. Don't just copy and paste it from one to another. And then the special categories, we've got Ally of the Year, Bravery Award, and then Businesswoman of the Year, which is the overall Businesswoman of the Year. So that is chosen by the judges based on the woman who scored most highly across everything. So yes, fantastic array of awards there. Has anybody got any questions at all as we're going forward? Don't think so.
Not got any questions come through yet, but Lucinda, thank you so much. You're doing such a brilliant job. I'm going through all the details in the awards.
Yes. Well, we're going to go through some of the techniques and the tips for things now, which would be great. So.
Yes, I just wanted to remind people that we've done a lot of work in making the categories more inclusive, because some of the categories in the past were so competitive, which is brilliant for us, but also we just wanted to give more people the opportunity to win. But I also wanted to give an example from last year where we had a bravery award, a special award given at the awards. This happened because after going through all the judging, the judges felt one particular woman, Rihanna, was so amazing that she needed her own special award. So I just wanted to encourage everyone listening in not to be fixated on the categories that we have, because depending on the judges we bring together, once they've read the application, if they feel that you stand out in a way that we haven't captured with the existing categories, they would recommend that we do that. So this is just an example to show how, you know, how we try and adapt the awards to fit the needs of the audience for that year. And I hope that is an encouraging story for anyone listening as well. So over to you again, Lucinda.
Yeah, it's really important to have and hear that. It's really wonderful actually to know that the judges have got that flexibility to be able to, you know, kind of identify that and then work with you guys to say, no, this woman is just outstanding in this area. And that's so lovely that they were able to do that last year. And you know, who knows, you might end up with even more categories for next year and beyond by doing that, but you may have made a rod for your own back there, but who knows,
we might have more or less. Again, it all depends. Yes,
we'll have to see. Yeah. So for this year, there are a few things that are new. So like we've said, there's some new categories, some updated, more opportunities, more inclusive, more ways to hopefully win and get that recognition. This year, there is no specific set live judging day like we've done before. We are not being invited to go down to one particular judging day in London and go and have that experience. Then logistically, with the number of the awards and things, it's really, really difficult for that to manage. But the judges still want to see you. They still want to hear you. They still want to understand the passion and the love and the dedication that you've got for yourself, for your job, for your role, and the achievements that you've made. So because of that, they'd like you to submit a 60 to 90 second video. Now, this is no more than what we would expect on a short for, say, what we have to do for TikTok and Instagram and, and LinkedIn and Facebook and all these different platforms that we're all expected to put videos on now. Whether we like it or not, this is an opportunity to really get you across and to really relax into it. And there's some really good guidance as well on the website, which I'll show you kind of what that looks like in a moment. But the guidance is there just to give you those pointers. And it's not 60 to 90 minutes, it's 60 to 90 seconds. So it's about being key, it's about being specific on the target, and answering those questions that they put down as the guidance to make sure that you're not going off on tangents. But also just relax into it as well. Don't overthink it too much. Plan it, prepare it, rehearse it, but don't overthink it too much, because actually they want you to be normal. They want you to be natural, because that's when you're going to be able to present yourself in the best way possible. So it doesn't have to be super polished with all these different graphics and everything. It's them about understanding who you are behind the business, behind the application itself.
And Lucinda, I just wanted to also reiterate that, because in the past we had the live judging in person, and then throughout the course of COVID and after that we had it online. So it was a virtual live judging day. And what we have done is that we've tried to remove the element for everyone to be in the same space at the same time due to commitment and all the challenges we have with diaries. So the 60-second to 90-second video replaces all interviews. If we do feel a need to call you and ask you further questions, we will. But just note that that video you record, which is just a chance for us to put a real face to the person submitting the application, is what the judges will be using. We get huge volumes, and so this is just to help us manage that process a bit more and also make it more inclusive when people are in different time zones and have other family commitments as well. So there is no 20-minute Zoom interview after shortlist. It's just that video submitted during the application.
That is on your frequently asked questions part. Right. So we need to just make sure that comes off there as well. So just double checked on there and saw it. I didn't think so, but I thought it's definitely the 60 to 90 second video is the key.
Yeah.
So it should be really exciting actually for you as judges to be able to see all of that as well, which is really nice. Okay. So this is the information about the required video submission, and it does say optional, but obviously we are really promoting for you to do that when you can. The content suggestions are there. Technical requirements are all there, so that's all on the website, all detailed out for you, so you can jump on there, have a look through, and if you've got any questions at all, or if you want to send anything over, is this quite right? Feel free to send it over to myself. I can have a look at it and things as well, give you some ideas and some feedback, and just to be a bit of a sounding board for things as well. So that's part of the support that we can give. So the core questions, these are, if you've entered before, these aren't going to be anything new to you. What they do is help you to really tell your story. So we've got 3 key questions, and then an anything else you would like to add question as well. So, which is great, because if it doesn't quite fit into there, then you can add other things, maybe testimonials that maybe don't fit into those 500 words that you've got there. So the leadership, strategic direction and personal resilience, 500 words. This, again, so when you've done the work previously that we've mentioned, when you're sort of looking at what's your story, this will feed into this, because it will show your career path to date, what your current role is, what your responsibilities are, how long you've been in the company, and what's your greatest business achievement to date. So that is covered really. So you've done that work, you've prepped it all, it's there. You can just then formulate it into a really nice response for that particular question. Commercial awareness. Now this one is very specific to the category that you're entering, so it will need to change and adjust for that. So we want to show, whatever the category is, you've got to show that evidence of success and reasons why you should be considered as a finalist in this category. So evidence of success, again, it depends on the category itself. So if anybody after this session has got an idea and just think, I'm interested in that, but I don't know quite how to present it, again, let's connect, let's have a call. I can talk you through some of the ideas, and maybe kind of we can work out a bit of a strategy of how you can respond to that and what those achievements have been, and how you can bring those in terms of success points, and why then that stands you above and shoulders perhaps some of the other finalists that that will be entering. From a community impact.
Lucinda, can I just add to that as well? Some of the feedback we've had over the years about people going through this audit process is really that it reminds them of just how far they've come. Because as you know, we're also busy with our day-to-day, and then we finish and jump onto the next goal, and finish and jump onto the next goal. And you can go for years without actually sitting down and taking stock of how far you've come, and taking a moment to just celebrate that, even if it's just for yourself and how much you've progressed in your career, or for the business and team that you've built. So I've had amazing feedback from people to say that just this alone has its weight in gold, because they left the process just feeling lighter and proud of themselves for how far they've come. And it's not about anybody else's journey, it's just simply about how far you have come on your own personal journey.
Yeah, completely agree. And like I said, that was at the beginning with that review of where you've come and the analysis of everything. It just allows you to take that stock of everything that you've achieved, and like I say, be really proud of where you've come and how far you've come, because there could have been some really challenging obstacles along the way, which it's just incredible that you got through that, and look where you are now, just 12 months later or 6 months later or whatever, or you've launched a brand new business you never thought you could, and you have done, and you've been a success with it so far. And that, and it's huge milestones that you can then bring to light and showcase off and be very, very proud of. So taking that process and really harnessing that and enjoying that, and then receiving the benefits from that, it's going to make you more productive and positive in the future anyway. So I think that in itself is real value. So from the community impact question, it's slightly changed this year, which is great, which is actually opens it out to not just you personally and what you do for the community, for other women, from other mentoring, support, all that kind of thing. It's actually about the business as well. So it's great because it gives you actually a lot more to talk about, because sometimes as women in business, what we do is we do a lot through our business, because we don't always have a lot of time outside of business to be able to dedicate to the causes and the things that we want to do. So we involve the rest of our team, and we do things as a team and support, maybe we have some mentoring programs, maybe we do some particular contributions to charities or donations or events and things like that. This gives you that chance to then talk about those as well. So it's not just about your personal support and impact, but it's actually about your business one as well, if that's relevant. So that's great. So that's kind of opened it out a lot more. And I think here, it is focus on what you're doing with other women and how you're helping and supporting them. But also the bigger impact of everything that you're doing as well. So if you can quantify some of the time or the energies and things that you put into supporting them, supporting their communities or particular groups and things, try and quantify that and bring that in as concrete evidence of impact and things as well. And then with anything else you would like to add, that's just open really. So anything else that doesn't quite fit in those 3 previous questions, but you feel actually is a story to tell, and that sort of makes up the final part of the story, then that's an opportunity to feed that into there. I don't know if you've got any other feedback about that last question, Griselda, anything specific, Do people often use that, or do they tend to not use it so much?
Yeah, I think people tend to use the whole form and tend to go over the word limit as well, which we will really discourage.
Yes.
I think if there's any extenuating circumstances that you feel will just give the judges a bit more context into what life has been like for you, I think that's always appreciated. There's a comment I'd like to make here about the use of AI in the application process. I mean, AI is a lifesaver. I know ChatGTP and Claude they feel like my personal assistants now. However, if you do use them, as I know you will, make sure not when copying and pasting, you don't copy the whole ChatGTP referencing into the textbook, because we've seen a few in the past and it doesn't always land very well with the judges. So just be cautious of that. Make sure you just copy the copy that's relevant to the application and not everything else that ChatGTP has told you about the information you put on the form.
That's so true. It's becoming more and more obvious, isn't it? There's certain phrases, certain words that are used, long dashes, all that kind of thing. If you're not going back into that content and reworking it to give it your voice, it is going to be quite obvious that it's not real in a way. And again, it's just, you don't want to do anything that's going to off-put the judges at all. So the way you can keep them on side is making sure that your voice really comes through and everything. And I think then that will be doubly reflected with the video as well, because then it will show that actually what's written here is a true reflection of what you're saying as well. So I think that's important.
Yeah. So we're not saying people shouldn't use it, because we're all using it. Just make sure you tidy it up before pasting it on the form.
Definitely. So when you're starting with the Novi entry, and you're thinking, I don't know where to start, I don't know how to work this, I don't know what to do, break it down into specific criteria points is the first thing. So if you've got that 500 words and you've got, say, 3 criteria points, split it up, then, divide the word count by those 3 points. That's how many words you've got for each section to write for that. It's really important to try and keep to that word count, as Griselda had said. I don't know if the system doesn't allow you to go over word count, actually, or if it blocks you at 500 words. So that will be a limit. But if you're struggling with framing it, then use some subheadings as well, so that the judges can then see that you're specifically responding to those key points in that criteria and category information. More so for the specific criteria for the categories, rather than perhaps the leadership one and the community impact one, because those will be a little bit more fluid in the information. But the category-specific one, you really want to be quite specific that you're responding to that information accurately and effectively.
Sadly, the box does allow you to add more than the 500 words, which is not ideal. But I think what we need to do is put ourselves in the judges' shoes. They have a lot of applications to go through. So the more succinct we are with our own application, the easier it is for them to get the best information out of it and to grade you really well.
Yeah. I think just being respectful of their time, isn't it? That's the thing. So when you're preparing it, you can obviously, if you're doing it for yourself, it would be first person, but try not to flip between the two. If you're doing first person and third person, if you're talking about a business or a company and it's your business, you either go with we or you work on it as a third person. But whichever one you're going to go with, you stick with it all the way through and make sure that it's all reflective of that. Try to begin with quite a strong opening evidence-based statement. Again, it's difficult to give an example of exactly what that could be for a specific category. But, if you have won awards before, and if you've won more than one, you're multi-award winning. So don't be afraid to showcase that. If you've grown your business by 300% in the last 12 months, put that forward as well. Use the opening statement to capture the judge's attention and go, oh, that's interesting. I want to read more about how she's done that. So that's really a technique that you can do to sort of make sure that you stand out. Obviously, you want to try and explain as fully as you can how you meet those specific criteria points. Again, be mindful of the word count. When you're writing, there may be opportunities where you can back things up with further evidence. So it could be a testimonial might fit better there, or it could be a quote from a team member, or an evidence piece that might have been done that you can refer to. So when there's those this is when the proofreading element comes in. So when you're reading it through and going, have I evidenced everything as clearly and as fully as possible? Is there a percentage that I can add to that? Is there something backed up with some financial figure I can add to that? Is there some impact report that I can refer to on that I can just draw some information out? So that's when the proofreading element can really come into play. And that's when you need that extra time to be able to allow for that as well, because that will flag up areas where you can just go, actually, that just needs to be a bit more impactful. And again, when you're looking at AI versions of your story, the detail tends to disappear if you're not careful, and it sort of gets overlaid with repetitive stuff. So again, it's coming back to that and just pulling out exactly what those key statements are, and then how you can evidence that with true, real impact figures and information. Telling you story as much as you can, giving them the bigger picture. Again, the video is going to be able to enhance that application and help them understand who you are and the background behind it. So evidence can be anything from, like I say on here, the before, you're sort of almost doing that before and after story with awards. And it's like the journey that you've taken and how that's come about over these last 12 months and the impact and the success that's created. It could be, about customer retention, attraction methods for attracting new clients and customers that perhaps is different, new systems, processes and things that you've put into play. It could be any of these kind of ones. And if you're looking at like increase in social media and your followers, you start to track that as soon as you can on a month-by-month basis. Start to track what your followers numbers are in June, July, August, September, and how that goes forward, and just keep an eye on that, because actually that's just going to really help you in future anyway to see your growth in terms of the reach and the impressions and all of that. So gather all of that evidence and things as well. If you've got anything like Trustpilot or any other kind of third-party customer endorsement, 5-star ratings, Google, that kind of thing, those will all go in there as well where relevant. And that will just help to substantiate some of the claims and some of the information that you're putting down on there as your statements. From a grammar and an editing perspective, it's not going to be a deal breaker if you get the comma in the wrong place for sometimes, but obviously for Grandpa, it could be a little bit of a dangerous situation for him to be in. The key thing here is really keeping an eye on your word count, because we may want to write big reams of big sentences and big fluid paragraphs and things, but actually that's not going to work from the word count perspective when you've got so much to say. So it's about really being clear, not trying to use too many technical terms, layman's terms really. So you don't want to, the judges aren't stupid people by any means. They're highly, highly skilled and professional in what they do. But we don't want to cause them any reason to think, I don't understand what that means, because there's just too many technical words in there that actually don't make any sense, or there's too many adjectives in there and it's too long a sentence and it's confused. You just want to be as clear as possible so that you're getting straight to the point, and that you're helping them understand what your story is. So that's a lot of the do's and things to do. And some of the don'ts to do is, as we've said before, don't rely on chat and AI to create the best and final copy of your entry. It's a starting block, but it's never the solution, in my opinion. So yes, absolutely. If you're finding it a little bit difficult to go, I just don't know what to write, I don't know what to put together, I need to say this, this, and this. Okay, that churns you out something. Okay, right, now can I turn that into me, really? So then you need to just rework it, reframe it, and put it back together in your words, in your language that you would naturally use. And one tip that Marcus Sheridan, who wrote They Ask You Answer, that he said on LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago, which was interesting, was read it out loud. And if it sounds like you, then great. And if it doesn't sound like you, that's when you need to go back to the drawing board with it and make sure that you're putting your voice on it. So I think that was a nice tip to use, actually. So try not to run out of time to proofread and double check the facts, the figures, and the information. If you want to access any of our check and send proofreading service, we can do that. We do a 48-hour turnaround on that, but we'd need to do that probably 2 or 3 weeks in advance of the deadline in order to get that right. So you've got time to be able to do that, any updates and amends as well. Try not to leave it till the 31st of August to do either a nomination or an application. Don't go over the word count, but equally don't go under it too much either. If you're finding that you've only got 100 words for a 500-word response, either you're not at the right stage or you're finding it difficult to draw out the information from here, or you perhaps need somebody else to do that for you. Again, we could help with that. But equally, it may not be the right year for you now, but hopefully you'll have more than 100 words to say, and you'll actually be over word count, and you'll have to be pulling it back rather than the other way around. And also, don't think that you can't ask for help. The team at Novi are all here to help. They will give you support, advice, and guidance. I'm here to help. I'll give you anything in terms of, like a 20-minute head-to-head and just like battle some ideas out and things, and just get some structure perhaps around the application as well. But we can offer some additional support as well in terms of our services, which we're more than happy to do. So we have a guide to entering business awards, which is a free download, which I can send to anybody who wants to contact us after this session. We're offering a check and send service at a reduced rate for anybody who's in the Novi Business Awards and participating in them. We're offering a 50% discount on our award writing. So if anybody's interested in that, I can, obviously talk to you about what your needs are and direct you into the right place. And then we're offering a new service as well, which is a post-success PR, because a lot of the success from winning a business award comes after and really pushes through, and the benefits come through when you really market yourself as an award-winning business or as a finalist in the business awards. So that's something that we often, again, we get very busy leading up to them, and then we put that post out on LinkedIn and then think, oh yeah, we've done our bit now. We don't need to do any more PR around it. Actually, there's so much more you can do, but that's time consuming. And if you don't have a team in place or you haven't got the support to do that, then we can assist and offer you that service as well. So again, we're here to help. We want you to get the best out of this as possible. And, the services that we can offer, but also that free, have a chat, let's have a call, see how it goes, and, explore some ideas that you've got or questions specifically that you've got around the awards as well. And then that's it, I think. So we're literally 3 minutes to go. So how about that for timing?
It's bang on the clock. Thank you so much, Lucinda. There's so much information in there. You always do such an excellent job with this masterclass. So thank you so much. I think you hit the nail on the head when you talked about the award win just being the beginning of the process. I think a lot of people drop the ball after they've got the trophy, and lose out on all the publicity that comes off the back of winning the award. Mm-hmm. So, and first of all, I know we are not there yet. For those of you who haven't applied before, haven't applied yet, I really encourage you to do so. You may be wondering what's different about the awards, why put the time and effort into the awards. And I think Lucinda has said so much about that already. But I can tell you from my own experience, having been in these awards for the past 10 years, that for a lot of people, it's a career and a life changer. The win of an award gives you so much confidence and wind in your sails, which makes people go on to do some pretty amazing things. And we have a lot of members who come to me and tell me, Griselda, when I won your award, it just gave me that push I needed to go for that top job or to just focus on growing my business. So if you're looking for transformation, if you're looking for to be in a room full of inspiring women or breaking barriers, if you're looking for a reason to blow your own trumpet, then look no further. Our awards are very, very competitive, but they're so worth it when you are shortlisted and when you're in the room and you announce the winner. And I hope that you would give yourself that gift of being able to enjoy the process and also joining us on the day to celebrate with everybody else in the room. So thank you so much. If you have any questions at all that we haven't covered, I think we've been quite detailed and comprehensive. But if you have any, Lucinda there as well, you can drop us an email to hello@weareno, and we'll do our best to assist you in any way possible. So the recording of all of the masterclass will be across all our channels from YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and it will be there until after the awards applications end. So thank you so much, Lucinda. Thank you everyone for joining us, and thank you to my wonderful team for all their hard work in pulling together another fantastic event.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.